Happy birthday, Rox! Cried Olena as she threw her arms around the blonde the moment he opened the door. The Roxinator is 16. Partay! Hater shouted. Hey, Roxas! Ted said, waving. Happy birthday, buddy! He clapped Roxas on the neck as he passed. Happy fucking birthday, kiddo! Ritu said, tousling Roxas' hair as he entered just after Pence. Ritu, you're such a tard. Carrie said, rolling her eyes before placing a friendly kiss on Roxas' cheek. Guess who brought the booze? Can I say as he swung a plastic bag back and forth in his hand, sauntering in, followed by his brothers Laz and Yazoo. Yazoo rolled his eyes, and Laz eyed the bag of tequila, vodka, and wine coolers for the hoodlums, he himself carrying a large box of beer. Who invited Thing 1 and Thing 2? Sora cried from the kitchen, recognizing Cat-Eye's voice. What about Thing 3? Yazoo asked, arching an eyebrow. Nah, you're cool. Sora replied, popping his head out of the kitchen for a moment. Roxas left. The party hadn't even started, and it was already complete chaos. His mother came down the stairs, dressed for a night out with the girls. She kissed Roxas' forehead. I don't mind if y'all drink, but save some for me, she said. Roxas gave her a hug. Have fun, Mom, he said. You too, baby. Hey, ta-ta triplets, if I come back and my house smells of weed or cigarettes, a lot of you get a shovel to dig your own individual graves with, right in the backyard. She kissed Roxas again. Love you, honey muffin. Love you, Mooma. Roxas cooed, snuggling his face into her bosom. Ow, baby. His mother cooed back. Aw, gag. Cat-Eye said. God damn it, you pussy, grow up here and let the woman leave so I can get y'all young and shit-faced drunk. Cat-Eye said, prying Roxas and his mother apart. Roxas made a noise of displeasure and scowled, skulking down to the basement where the party was going to happen. His mother left after a final goodbye to Sora. Roxas, will you come help me in the kitchen? Sora called. Roxas? He peered out again, only to see that everyone had migrated to the basement. Lazy jerks. He mumbled as he turned to continue with snack making. He bumped into the hard chest of one of Roxas' guests. He looked up. Nope. Not one of Roxas' guests. Hi, Ritu. Sora said with a bright smile. Ritu leaned down and kissed his lips sweetly. Hey, need some help in here? He asked. Sora laughed. Yeah. Roxas is a button and offered to help with his own party snacks. He replied as he stood in front of the counter, cutting up mushroom stems for stuffed mushrooms. Ritu came over and snaked his arms around Sora's waist, proceeding to kiss the brunette's neck. Poor little Sora. He mumbled against the smooth expanse of tan skin, left all alone upstairs, with no one to protect him. He smiled wickedly. Sora lifted a hand to his mouth, eyes widening in mock surprise. Oh noes! The dead man's gonna get me! Giving a laugh, he turned around in Ritu's arms and leaned up, capturing the older male's lips with his own. Ritu nipped at his bottom lip and Sora opened his mouth, allowing Ritu's tongue to enter. He sucked on the pig muscle, teasing Ritu with his own tongue. I knew it! Came Carrie's voice from the doorway. Sora gasped loudly, and Ritu was so startled by both Sora's gasp and Carrie's voice that he let go of Sora's waist and the poor brunette, knees weak from shock, fell over. Oh! Hey Carrie! Ritu stuttered. We're just making out over the mushrooms? Yes, Carrie said, narrowing her eyes. She made her way slowly over to the counter, hidden behind my back. Yes. She picked up the small knife that Sora had been using to cut the mushroom stems. Busted. Without a doubt. Sora stood as he listened to his best girlfriend. Carrie, please, forgive me. Carrie trailed the rhetorical question off for a moment, closely examining the knife. With one quick motion that startled the living daylights out of both guilty-looking boys, she embedded the knife deep into the wooden cutting board. Sora winced. Mom wasn't going to be happy about that. Ritu slowly reached over and pulled the knife out, to be sure that Carrie wouldn't stab either of them. Carrie, definitely not. Carrie growled, slamming her fist down on the marble counter. A slight crack was heard and Carrie winced, but overall, she still looked thoroughly miffed. We can explain the fact that you couldn't just tell me, she screeched. Sorta cut in. But we thought that I wouldn't still love you both like my very own family. This time, Carrie looked hurt. She sounded hurt. She was hurt. Sora moved around the counter towards her. Carrie, that's not what we... You could trust me with anything, Sora, it's all a misunderstanding. We just can't believe you didn't trust me to know more complicated than you think. Hey, I'd never do this to you. If you could just stop for a second and let me explain, both of you. Shut the motherfuck up. Ricky bellowed. Both younger teens stopped and looked up at him. Now, children, he said in a tone of forced calm, I want you two to sit down on the stools right there. Both of them looked down at the tall counter stools, then back up at him. But, sit, Carrie, Ricky ordered. The redhead sat obediently. Ricky, what's... Don't talk, Sora. And for fuck's sake, sit your ass down. Sora quieted himself as Ricky lifted him and set him onto another stool, facing Carrie. Now Carrie, explain why you're angry, he said. Carrie sniffled and then had not yet fallen tears with her sleeve. I'm mad because you two are dating behind my back. And of all places, on the day of all days, I find you two necking over the snacks, she said, her voice cracking a bit. She sniffled more, now wiping away tears that were beginning to fall. And I did like you guys, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to ruin our friendship. And I got over it. This is supposed to be a god and happy occasion, but you've got me all upset because you couldn't bring your bitch selves to tell your best girlfriend what was going on. Sora reached over and put a hand on her leg. Are you done? Ricky asked. Carrie nodded. Sora, go ahead. Sora nodded. Carrie, we thought you still liked us, and we didn't want to hurt your feelings. We only had your feelings in mind when we decided not to tell. But believe us, nobody else knows, as far as we know. We didn't know how you'd handle it. It's kind of a touchy subject and all, he said, rubbing her knee comfortingly. He paused to let both Carrie and Ricky know that he was willing to let Ricky add something or Carrie speak. And Carrie spoke. I don't care that you guys are dating, she said, followed by a soft sob. I wouldn't care if you dated 30 guys at once. I just feel like you don't trust me. That's not true, Sora replied. We trust you with our lives, and we trust you with this secret. We don't really want anyone to know. Except you, now. Now that we know that you don't mind, he said, it'll be our dirty little secret. Carrie just kept her face buried in her hands. Come on. No response. Let's get you some ice cream, he offered. Carrie looked up, face red and eyes puffy. Chocolate hazelnut gelato, I hope, she whispered. Always in stock, Sora said with grin. Carrie managed a tiny smile. Ricky clapped his hands together. Good. Now that that's settled, I'll continue making the snacks. Sora, you get the princess some ice cream, get me some too, actually, and we'll pretend that this encounter never transpired. Deal? Deal? Both Carrie and Sora exclaimed in unison as they hopped off of the stools and scrambled for the freezer. Oh god, the sword you just came out of nowhere and slapped me in the face with its stick. And you know what?